I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bill?
Yes.
John?
Here.
Betty? Here. Hank? Here. And Chris, all
Here.
accounted for.
Okay, motion to approve the prior meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, committee reports. Highway Superintendent.
Alright, going pretty short and sweet. We're continuing to mow along the roads. Should be done in about a week or so. Been cutting shoulders and ditches. We've regraded the dirt roads, cold patched some of the blacktop roads. Our two big paving street roads were done by Hanson, that's all completed. And we're currently working on building a snowplow turnaround on North Con Road due to a new honors house being put in. Because follow more of the roads at the make the place turn snowplow on.
So now that means you actually gotta go down around that corner?
No, be afraid to plow it.
Let's say if that's the case, when we go down, you might as well keep right on going and go on, turn around, come back.
Okay, Artie, in your report, a short discussion of budget affecting items. We are currently negotiating with the union. Coming along nicely there. We'll discuss some of that later. I just gave you the report that we want back this next week. One of the items I feel the board should address, Mr. Logan hasn't had a salary increase in 2 years. I'm not sure, I haven't gone into the records that much, but if he did get an increase, along with some of the other employees, it would have been .0175. Did you see that raise, Artie, or don't you know offhand?
I think it took effect 2 years ago.
Yeah, nothing last year.
I don't, if it did, the year before I didn't get anything, I don't remember.
Okay. Everybody in the highway department, subject to the union agreement, got a raise. Okay, let's move on to the.
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, just so you're aware, there's actually a public law where we cannot give an elected official a raise until the beginning of his next term. We were found in our controller's report that was one of the things that they brought up, including us being elected officials, we can't increase our salaries at the same time. But at the time of the next election, we can place that raise into the next time being elected. We can't, during the middle of an elected official's term, raise it, which we have been doing.
We have been doing.
Yes, the previous board had increased Artie's salary 2 years prior, which I'm not against, but there's actually a full set of conditions to do so. Also, we were not disclosing medical benefits as part of the compensation package, which we just did last year, did include it on top of the salary, because his salary needs to be made public, including the compensation for medical.
I'm aware of that section of the manual. I just want to put on record what is going on with our highway superintendent, and for further discussion with the board and further negotiations on the budget. Now I would like to do the same thing with the dog control officer. We have her report.
Excuse me, Mr. Supervisor, are we done with Artie? Because I had some questions.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. Artie, hi, how are you? All right. Listen, I had a Mr. Smith come to me in Hickory Hill Road, and he asked me, what's the procedure if he does not want the front of his property mowed?
Come see me.
Okay, because he said he called and you guys came and mowed him anyway.
Mr. Smith, what,
Yeah, I'll get you details. I have his phone number at home. I'll bring it in and give it to you.
Keep in mind, Hickory Hill Road's a county
it's a
road.
county road, yeah.
Okay,
And.
So we'd have to go to you?
Regardless, it's 25 feet setback, and that's what he gets paid to mow, 25 feet.
so if the resident doesn't want it tough toes, that's it, 25
He'll
feet?
get mowed.
Okay, okay, great, thank you. I also had two residents, one from Osagachi, one from Brower Road, come to me about the millings that the town left there. I see you wrote a nice report saying I was being inquisitive, but I came upon the request of the residents. Are we leaving the millings there permanently, or?
There are,
Okay, but aren't we accepting in hazardous waste then, because there's oils and stuff there? That was the question I was asked.
as far as I know, Millings is not a hazardous waste.
Okay, I'll tell the residents that. So we got them for free, we didn't pay anything for them?
Correct.
Okay, great. And do you have an issue with me asking the men what they're doing there for a resident, or no?
My man?
No, the contractors who were there.
That-
Because I saw a report here says I was bothering them, but I came up and just asked for the resident.
That's not the impression that we got.
Well, we shook hands and smiled, so I don't think that's,
What did the policeman write on the report?
I don't care what the policeman wrote on the report, because that's third-hand knowledge, that's not anything admissible. So I'm asking, is there a problem with me?
Well, my thing is, that it was going on for 2 days, and you came up on a day when I wasn't there, why don't you just come see me?
The residents called me, okay, and I just went up and I said, I'll see what's going on. I asked them what's going on. They said millings, the job was gonna be about 4 or 5 days and they'd be done. So I went back and told the residents the same thing. And said, don't worry about it, fellas. They're not, no one's digging a hole, no one's doing anything there. They're just moving millings. Okay? Thank you, Artie. I appreciate that. Okay.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the highway superintendent's report?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, the justice report.
I haven't seen it. Is it here? Somebody has it here?
It was with the vouchers.
Should be in the envelope with the vouchers.
Oh, I just took the envelope from the office.
I'll make a motion, we accept the justice report.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You look through it.
Okay. The assessor's report. You have one in front of you?
To Miss Cheryl.
Thank you.
Okay. Right. The dog control officer isn't here. Let's continue with the assessor's report. Any questions on the assessor's report? Look for a motion to accept it.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? Good.
Just one thing, with the STAR stuff, it's all changing this year. If somebody calls, somebody, just have them get a hold of me. I'm gonna send out a letter with as much information as I can get from the state when it's time for the renewals, but this will be, next year, they're gonna try to transition it all to the state level.
Are we seeing any applications for large solar panel installations?
No. He's got some people that have come at, I believe, at the planning board level, but so far, nobody's applied for.
Are we able to influence any of those installations into receiving income for our town residents?
Yes. You mean to get tax dollars?
A large company comes in, puts a large installation in. I'm reading articles that say some host municipalities are demanding fees that are being turned over to reduce power bills for local residents.
I don't know about that, I know that some of the companies will offer residents cheaper power, somewhere around 15 to 20% lower than what National Grid offers them.
This is a community power program.
They don't actually make it a community power program. It's just they offer to sell it to the residents at a lower rate. That's what, like Cypress Creek offered, St. Johnsville was. They put it in, they'll offer the residents, you know, a lower priced per kilowatt, price for their power.
You're aware of it and
And that's why.
know enough to look for it.
And
but-
that's why we're trying, that's why I wanted to get with Greg to discuss how to word the pilot so that it would benefit the town, not just for the tax dollars, because in the end, the tax amount that the town gets is the smallest of the three.
Mhm.
So at least if there's some other benefits that you get directly to the residents, it makes it a little, sometimes easier to deal with.
Okay.
Leando, there's a limit, right? Because the proposed solar project in Fort Plains / Counter-Harry gives no advantage to the towns, and the towns don't have a say in what happens there because it's oversized.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I just read that the governor exempted them of paying county and state, county and local taxes on the project that size, so I didn't know if we.
The two size projects that have been discussed in St. Johnsville, neither one has been exempt.
Good, okay. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor of accepting her report, say aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. Okay, dog control officer. Has everybody seen the report? This is another area we're seeing a lot more activity. We just changed some legislation in that area. Hopefully our dog control officer is having a better time of it. Do I have a motion to accept her report?
I make that motion to accept the dog control's report.
Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, code enforcement officer.
Permits are going out when the applications come in. And we did close out quite a bit on some of the ones that were open. Linda and I went through today and matched our numbers up, and I think we got like only 24 that remain open. We're out for this year, and I think a couple from last year. If you look on the report, we did closed out 3 new homes. You'll see the CCs and the COs. And conferences in October, so I'll be heading to that, the 15th, 16th, and 17th down in Albany. And that's it. Things are running smooth.
You say the activity is increasing, decreasing, or staying the same?
About the same
Is it?
this time, about the same. Inspections picked up for closing out quite a bit, but permits are about the same.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept?
Make a motion to accept this report.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, town clerk.
Well, we're just getting ready for hunting licenses. It's slow right now for the hunting licenses, but it will pick up. I also had a phone call today from a lady on this solar that the planning board is working on. And she was telling me all this stuff. I said, please don't involve me. I have nothing to do with it. And I gave her Joe's phone number, so she will be getting in touch with you.
Was this recently?
Huh?
Was this recently?
Today, the lady called me.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh.
tonight, around, just before the meeting, she called me. So I gave her your phone number,
Mhm.
and she said she will be getting in contact with you.
Okay.
All right? And that's all I got.
Okay, motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the town clerk's report.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, planning board.
As far as the planning board is concerned, kind of a bit of a lull, which is not a bad thing. No new applications, site plans, or anything like that. As far as steering committee, we had our SWOT analysis this past, August 11th, I believe it was. Amanda Bearcroft from the county came out. It was a pretty good turnout, I'd say. Good collaboration of ideas. And it's just a matter of when we get the surveys out, we get the feedback from the community to see how we match up and kind of put ideas together and moving forward with the comprehensive plan. And the phone call you received, Linda, was that the same person?
Yeah, she said it was the same one.
Same one?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I spoke to this person with Jordan Energy recently, and I know she wants to meet up with us the beginning of October, our first meeting in October. We were supposed to originally do it this past month, but I guess they were trying to wait from approval from NYSERDA first before they moved on, so she recently pushed it to the first meeting in October, so we'll take it from there. That's all I got.
Thank you. All right, we got your voucher put in with this month's bill, so that will be paid.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Okay.
Joe, I want to thank you and all the members of the steering committee. Great job on that stuff. Flushed out some good stuff. I wish more people showed, but it's a great start. We'll know when the surveys come. So I wanted to thank you, Nancy, and Linda, and everybody, Mayor Post, and all the people on the committee. Great work. So
You're welcome.
thank you.
Okay, motion to accept.
I make the motion to accept the planning board's report.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay, Board of Ethics.
Yes, the Ethics Board met and finalized one complaint relative to a conflict of interest. We found that there was no ethics violation, and the parties involved will be notified by the end of this evening.
Okay.
And the only other thing is we're still waiting to meet with the attorneys. They've been out of town. We haven't been able to meet with them to talk
3
further.
weeks. Yeah, it's been roughly 3 weeks.
Yeah.
They were back in their office today.
So, that's it.
Okay, I have a motion to accept.
I make that motion.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, supervisor's budget report. I wanted to just introduce the budget discussion. I don't have any numbers other than the February numbers that I gave you regarding the capital acquisitions in the highway department. Now, from that list, from that inventory, and the pricing of annual cost for each piece of equipment, look it over. We'll have a special meeting in early September and come up with a number for capital acquisitions to put in the budget. We are not going to do what was done in the past. When we decide to buy a truck, we put the amount of the truck in, and that was our capital account in the budget for next year. We're going to try to level that area in the budget. Every year, we're going to apply money to the town's budget as a representation of how much money we need to continually fund the highway department. Does anybody have any questions in what I provided there? okay? Salary discussions throughout the budget. The department heads, the various people that perform the work in the town. It's important for us, especially now, the way that I see it, what I am looking at. The economy is recovering. The economy is getting better. And the old push-pull between municipal employees and private enterprise. We are at very nearly full employment. We have some good employees in the town that do a lot of work for the town that haven't seen raises. We have to take a close look at that portion of the budget. That's why you saw on the outline, I put it down for every department. You know, I realize we have some restrictions, but we also have some room. Look it over. Today, my requests from each department went out for their budget information. I should have that back by the end of next week. Then we will have some numbers to start to put in our budget consideration. What we are going to do, we're going to go item by item. I realize you haven't done that in the past. At least my bookkeeper tells me that hasn't been done in the past. I would prefer that the board be fully informed and the board have the information in front of them and we can discuss each department. That's my idea on how I want to put the budget together. Now, you'll remember the state audit said to ignore prior budgets. What we're preparing now is a 3-year average of the prior 3 years, deducting out capital expenditures to try to get an idea in each portion of the budget, even line by line, what the expenditures have been. You'll recall this budget that was put together is $100,000 less than the year prior, and also well over $100,000 was applied in surplus. We will be short of being able to come up with a budget that will pay all the bills. What we have to do is, I requested today, the attorneys put together the legal work to exceed the 2% tax cap. We have a choice to do that, or there is enough surplus we can apply to keep the rate where it is. You'll recall most taxpayers in the town of Palatine got roughly a 30% reduction in their taxes last year. The budget is approximately 25% short of paying the bills. 2% raise in taxes from last year will not pay the bills. The board has to make the decision on whether they want to burn through more surplus or whether they want to put the tax rates in an appropriate area to cover our bills.
Excuse me, Mr. Lesser, I have a question. You said we're 25% short. Could you,
That is a rough figure, Chris.
so I
You can-
haven't seen where we've gone over yet on any categories.
That's right, but we have some money that has come in that hasn't come in the prior budgets. There is no need of getting in a discussion without any numbers on the table.
Well, you brought out a number. I'd like to just know where this 25% short is, because that means that if we are 25% short, I mean, I only went to a 4-year school, but that means that we can't pay any bill from the end of September to the end of December right now.
No, it doesn't mean that at all.
Well, okay, so,
I don't intend to explain to you, Chris. I'm not here tonight to give you a fun time.
I'm asking a question. I'm just asking a question. When you make a statement, I'm asking a question where we're short 25%. But if you'd like to send me your
No.
projections, I'd be more than happy to look it over.
No, no. There's no need of you looking anything over. Okay, supervisor's correspondence. The first letter I want to address is from the Community Youth Center. In the past, this board has donated $2,840. There is $2,840 in the budget. Does the board wish to donate the money to the Community Youth Center in Canajoharie?
I would be in favor of doing that, that's our tradition.
Okay.
That's what was budgeted?
Yes, it's in the budget. The money's there.
Is this for this year or next year? Because I remember we gave them something last November or December.
I believe it's probably a yearly thing.
Right, but I'm trying to remember where it goes from to. If they mentioned for what budget it was, because I thought we just gave them something November or December. I'm all for giving it to them because we actually committed to do something ongoing with them, but.
I looked at the budget, there's $2,840 in the budget. That's the extent of my knowledge. What went on prior to my being here, I don't know.
No, it is for the youth center, it is the only thing the kids got in this area, so I'm in favor for, I make a motion that we, donate to 2840.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. We got any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
That's abstain.
Abstain. Okay. that makes sense. Okay, the next letter addressed to me from Deb Carey and Sandy McCullough. The board had a chance to read the letter. It refers to various incidents, well documented.
Alleged.
What's the board's pleasure on this? We have several options.
I believe that the website mentioned, which is Palatine Ready to Grow, is basically a scurrilous, slanderous website that attacks people that people on that website feel to be on the other side of their political issues. And I think that I would heavily discount, and no harm to the people that wrote it, no personal animus. I'd heavily discount anything that comes from the website called Palatine Ready to Grow. It just teems with insults, partisanship, slandering people, just a nasty, nasty website. And I cannot, on my own conscience, endorse anything like that attacking Chris. Chris is abrasive, but Chris actually lends a lot to this board. And I see evidence of a concentrated attack against him here, which I do not approve of. I think it's a bad thing.